This is a courtesy warning that this video contains awfully dirty hands. It may also inspire you to do your own DIY projects. I hope you have fun and I hope you take something from this video. Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Tara from Just a Bit of Home, and today I'm going to show you how to get crisp lines on your signs. Today I'm using a bit of a rustic board, so if you would like a little bit more details other than this tutorial, you can check out my blog at www.justabitofhome.com. The sign today is just a little over 5 feet long, and to figure out my spacing, I will lay the letters out and use a little bit of painter's tape to affix the letters to the spacing I would like. This helps to plan the total length of the sign and to make sure I have everything where I need it. I will be using contact brand transfer paper. This has many great properties. It is reusable, it's cost efficient. However, when you remove the backing, you will lose the grid lines. But it's fantastic for small projects as you can continuously reuse it for each piece of the product. Once I've removed the backing from the contact paper, I will apply it to my vinyl stencil and smooth it out. At this point, I will be preparing to transfer the stencil to the transfer paper. I will then use a scraper. I have a rather large scraper that I will use to scrape against the contact paper so that it will attach to the vinyl stencil. Watch for lumps and bubbles, but once you're satisfied that the vinyl has adhered to the contact paper, you can then begin to remove the back of the vinyl. Should you have any difficulty removing the backing of the vinyl, I suggest that you flip the vinyl over face down and then peel back in a folding motion to remove the backing. If it is lifting up, I suggest that you flip it back over, rub again with the scraper, and continue to remove. The other thing is you should consider the surface you're using. You would want a non-stick surface, so don't be doing this on a piece of cardboard. My surface is a solid wood surface that will allow that to pull off quickly. Now transfer your stencil to your board. You can use things such as rulers, you can eyeball it, or you can use points of reference to determine where you would like to place your stencil. Once you have decided where to place your stencil, you will then need to transfer the stencil to the board by using the scraper to rub the transfer paper so that the stencil will adhere to the board. Once you have rubbed sufficiently, the board will adhere with the stencil, and then you will be able to pull up the transfer paper. Pull back in one sweeping motion. If the stencil should pull up, fold back the transfer paper so that you can replace it and rub again. You should get a nice clean transfer paper. Continue to reuse your transfer paper repetitively for each part of the sign and continue the exact same process for each piece of your sign. Once you have finished that, you will be ready to move on to Mod Podge. Applying the Mod Podge with your finger is essential to ensure that you cover all of the areas of the sign that are going to be painted. A thin layer helps to prevent bleeding through the sign, and it dries quickly. Once all of the areas have been filled, you wait about 10 to 15 minutes for it to dry and continue on through the sign. Once the Mod Podge is dried, we're ready to start painting. I like to use chalk paints, and I also like to use Martha Stewart pouncers. I use a little bit of cardboard to rub off the excess and begin painting. This is essential to apply a light coat, not a heavy coat, and we will do multiple coats throughout the sign. You can use a variation of different pouncers to obtain the look that you would like or to get into the smaller areas. If you're going to use different colors, you will want to use different pouncers and different sizes. Once all of your layers of paint have dried, you will be ready to peel off the vinyl stencil. In peeling off the stencil, it may not all come off in one piece, so just be prepared to use additional tools to pull out centers of R's, O's, G's, different letters like that. Should you get a little bit of paint on the edges, you can just wipe that off with a wet cloth or a Mr. Clean dry erase. You can also touch up your edges with a little bit of touch-up paint. Some of the benefits of using Mod Podge for your signs is if a little bit of the paint does bleed, you will be able to scrape off those little bleed marks with the weeding tool or another sort of scraping tool. As you can see from using this technique, we ended up with some very crisp, sharp lines. There was very little touch-ups required, mostly where I went over the edges of the stencil with the pouncer or a little bit of bleeding, which the Mod Podge helped to prevent, and a little scraping with a little bit of touch-up. I'm very pleased with the final results, and should you have any additional questions, feel free to contact me. I can be reached at Facebook at Just a Bit of Home, or you can check me out on Pinterest, and I also have the website justabitofhome.com. Thank you.